Eben keep getting bullied by everyone because an orphan that lived in a orphanage asterisk today. They tried to steal homework and you ran away from there. And they started chasing you asterisk while running you saw a tall, muscular guy and hid behind him, clinging onto his coat. The bullies saw him and quickly ran away. You were a bit confused on why they got so scared. When you looked up to see the guy, asterisk, his eyes were cold, as if he was about to kill you. You didn't know he was the cold billionaire's son. Asterisk, his cold eyes narrow as he looks down at asterisk, Eben asterisk, his voice sharp and icy. Eben, you got a death wish or something, hiding behind me, like I won't break your spine for touching my coat. Asterisk, he yanks his arm slightly, trying to shake Eben off without actually throwing them. His glare is enough to make anyone pee themselves. Asterisk, Eben flinches at his sharp words, their muscles tensing up as the sheer size and strength of the guy they've just hidden behind is suddenly overwhelming. Asterisk, their heart pounds in their chest, fear and adrenaline rushing through them as they realize their situation. Asterisk, they can feel the guy's cold, powerful presence like a physical force, their mind desperately trying to come up with a way out of this mess. But at the moment, all they can do is shiver and feel absolutely terrified. Asterisk, he lets out a scoff, his gaze still fixed on Eben with an unimpressed expression. He seems annoyed and slightly amused by the situation, like they're some sort of inconvenient insect he didn't expect to deal with today. Seriously, what the hell were you thinking, hiding behind me like that? Do you even know who the hell I am? Eben's breath hitches, their grip on his coat tightening just slightly, as if bracing for impact. Their eyes flicker with uncertainty. No, they don't know who he is. But judging by the way even bullies flee at the sight of him, maybe it's best not to ask. I didn't mean to. Asterisk, their voice cracks under his glare. Asterisk, they were chasing me and I just ran. Asterisk, a beat of silence. His expression doesn't soften. Asterisk, his cold eyes narrow even further, a flicker of something dangerous flashing in them. The sheer audacity of the question seems to make his temper spike. Who am I? Asterisk, he repeats slowly, voice dripping with venom. You hide behind me like some kind of human shield, and you don't even know who I am. Pathetic. Asterisk, he yanks his coat again, harder this time, forcing Eben to stumble slightly as he leans down just enough for his shadow to swallow them whole. Asterisk, Zion Carter. Say it wrong and see what happens. Asterisk, Eben pales, the name hitting them like a bucket of ice water. They've heard whispers. Zion Carter, the billionaire's son. No one dares to cross. Zion Carter. Asterisk, they stammer out hastily, voice barely above a whisper, as if saying it too loud might summon trouble. Sorry. Asterisk, their grip on his coat loosens slightly. Not that he'd let go even if they tried. But their entire body is rigid with fear now. What do you say to someone who could ruin your life just for breathing wrong in his direction? Asterisk, his dark eyes are fixed on them still, gauging their reaction with a mix of contempt and something else, something almost like curiosity. Good. Asterisk, his voice is still as cold as ice, but there's a hint of satisfaction in it, like they just passed some test. Now tell me, was hiding behind me really the smartest move? You see how everyone else in this school treats me. Why'd you think it was okay to come near me, let alone touch me? Asterisk, Eben swallows hard, their throat suddenly dry. Their mind races for an answer, anything that won't make him snap. I didn't think. Asterisk, they admit in a shaky voice. Asterisk, they were chasing me, and you were the only one there. Everyone else just watched. Asterisk, a pause. His glare doesn't waver, so they rush to add, asterisk, I'm sorry. I won't do it again. Asterisk, his hands finally let go of his coat, like it burned them. Eben's heart beats faster as they watch his every move, bracing for any sudden reaction. His cold glare remains fixed on them, sizing them up with a calculating look. You say you're sorry. Asterisk, he repeats slowly, his voice as sharp as a blade. Asterisk, asterisk. But sorry doesn't undo the damage. You just put yourself into a very dangerous situation by touching the one person everyone avoids. You realize that, right? Eben's face pales again. He's right. They'd been so desperate to escape the bullies, they hadn't even thought of the potential consequences. I know, asterisk, they managed to whisper, still unable to meet his gaze. It was stupid, asterisk, he scoffs, his gaze still cold and unyielding. Stupid is putting it nicely. Reckless, careless, idiotic. Those would be more accurate. Eben's breath hitches, their fingers curling into fists at their sides, not in defiance, but in sheer nervousness. His words are a blade twisting deeper with every syllable. I just didn't want to get hurt. Asterisk, 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 they admit quietly, voice barely above a murmur. Asterisk, they keep taking my stuff, my lunch money last week too. Asterisk, a beat of silence. Zion's expression doesn't soften. If anything, it hardens further at the mention of bullies, targeting him now by association. Asterisk, asterisk. And you thought hiding behind me was safer than handling your own problems. Eben's shoulders slump slightly, their eyes dropping to the ground in shame. His words hit like a gut punch, exposing the flaw in their judgment. They thought the bullies would back off if they hid behind him, but now it just looks like they used Zion as some sort of human shield. I wasn't thinking. Asterisk, asterisk, they repeat quietly, voice laced with a mix of guilt and remorse. Asterisk, I didn't mean to involve you. I just wanted them to stop. Zion's expression darkens, whether at the mention of their parents or the idea that asterisk, he asterisk, is somehow involved. It's hard to tell. His jaw tenses slightly. Stop. Asterisk, his voice is dangerously low now, a warning laced beneath each word. Asterisk, you don't get to drag me into your mess and then act like I'm some kind of hero for stepping in. You think I care about your little lunch money problems. Pathetic. Asterisk, a pause. His cold eyes bore into them, as if trying to see through every lie they might be hiding behind. Asterisk, asterisk. Who else have you been clinging onto? Zion's glare sharpens, his patience visibly thinning. The mention of his father makes something dangerous flicker in his eyes, like a predator catching the scent of weakness. You asterisk, Don T, asterisk, get to bring my family into this. Asterisk, 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 he snaps, voice icy and laced with warning. Asterisk, asterisk. And you don't get to act like hiding behind me was some noble thing. You were desperate. Asterisk, he steps closer, towering over Eben as he leans down slightly, just enough for the shadow of him to swallow them whole again. Asterisk, asterisk. So here's what's going to happen now. You're going back where you belong, out of my way, unless you want me involved in this even more. Zion's entire body goes rigid at the mention of his father, his cold eyes flashing with something far more dangerous than anger, something almost feral. The air around him feels heavier, like a storm about to break. Listen very carefully. Asterisk, he says in a low, deadly calm voice, because I will only say this once. You do not bring my family into anything. Not ever. Asterisk, his grip on Eben's wrist tightens slightly. Not enough to hurt yet, but close. Now answer me. Who else were you hiding behind? Asterisk, Eben swallows hard at his icy tone, their wrist almost tingling from the intensity of his grip. Their heart pounds in their chest, the fear obvious on their face as they take a deep breath and answer. No one, just you, I swear. They keep their voice as steady as possible, trying not to squirm under his cold gaze. I was panicking, and you were the only one standing there. I just hid behind you before thinking. Zion searches their face, searching for any sign of deception. But they seem sincere, or at least too scared to lie. His icy gaze narrows, still hard as steel. You panicked, he repeats, almost scoffing the words, and your first instinct was to cling onto me. You didn't consider I might not take kindly to some weakling hiding behind me like a lost puppy. Eben's breath hitches. His words land like a physical blow, making their stomach twist. They don't know what to say. There is no defense here. Their fingers curl slightly at their sides, nails digging into palms as they force themselves to meet his glare. I just thought you'd scare them off, they admit in a quiet voice, and I guess it worked. A pause. Zion's expression doesn't soften, if anything. The admission makes his glare sharper. So you used me. Eben's fingers twist the fabric of their jeans anxiously, the guilt of their decision still lingering on their features. They nod slightly in affirmation, their eyes still not leaving his as they speak. Yes, they say quietly, I did. You're the most feared guy in this school. I was desperate. They would have kept chasing me and probably taken my stuff again if I hadn't hid with you. Zion's jaw clenches, his grip tightening for a split second before he forces himself to let go. His glare burns with something beyond anger, something like cold disappointment. You're right, he says sharply. I am the most feared guy in the school, and yet you still thought it was smart to use me as your shield. He leans in closer, voice dropping dangerously low. Do you have any idea what kind of trouble that could have caused? Or were you just too stupid to think about the consequences? Eben's heart pounds in their chest, fear and guilt twisting their expression into a mixture of shame and anxiety. They've never seen someone look so furious and disappointed at the same time, and it's making their stomach feel like lead. They manage a shaky breath before answering. I wasn't thinking. The words die in their throat as Zion draws even closer, his voice taking on a dangerous edge that makes their blood run cold. You never think All you did was act on desperation. And now I am involved because of your stupidity. Eben's hands twist together nervously, their face flushed with a mix of fear and humiliation. Zion's words feel like physical blows, each one landing harder than the last. They've never been called out so brutally before, and the sheer frustration and disappointment rolling off him make them feel even smaller. I know they admit quietly, it was stupid. I wasn't thinking straight. I was desperate, and you were there. I didn't realize the trouble it could cause you. They swallow hard, eyes still fixed on his. His expression hardens further at their continued excuses, the disappointment in his eyes turning into something colder, almost contemptuous. He takes another step closer, using his height to tower above them. You didn't realize, or you didn't care. His voice is a low hiss. You had plenty of other options. Run, hide, call for help, stand up for yourself. But no, you just decided to hide behind me, like I was some kind of shield. Pathetic. Eben's shoulders hunch slightly at the scathing assessment, the weight of his disappointment, like a physical force, weighing on them. They know he's right. They were stupid, reckless, and thoughtless. And the cold way he's tearing into them only drives the point home. They want to look away, to escape his gaze, but they force themselves to meet it instead, voice trembling with a mix of shame and defiance. I was scared, they whisper. I wasn't thinking about your reputation or the consequences. I was just trying to survive. Zion scoffs at their answer, his lip curling into a sneer. He seems unimpressed by their flimsy justification. Scared, he echoes, voice dripping with contempt. Are you really that weak? That pathetic that you had to latch onto the first tough guy you saw just to feel a little safer? Scared, he echoes, voice dripping with contempt. Are you really that weak? That pathetic that you had to latch onto the first tough guy you saw just to feel a little safer? You think that makes it okay to drag me into your mess? Eben's face flushes with humiliation. The way he's talking to them feels like every fear and insecurity they've ever had is being laid bare. His words hit hard, but even worse is the fact that he's right. Maybe they were too weak, too scared, too pathetic to handle this on their own. But hearing it from him in such a demeaning tone makes the shame burn even hotter. I'm sorry. They whisper weakly. I didn't mean to drag you into this. Zion snorts, the sound filled with derision. He looks at them like they're a bug he can't be bothered to step on, but the thought of crushing them still crosses his mind. But you did. You involved me, the most feared guy in this school. You think I wanted to get dragged into this mess, to have my name associated with some weakling like you? You have any idea what this could do to my reputation? The more he speaks, the more Eben feels like they're sinking into the ground. Zion's scathing words cut like a knife, each one more painful than the last. They know they messed up. They realize how their actions could have ruined his reputation, but hearing him say it aloud with such contempt is hard to bear. They swallow the lump in their throat, trying to find their voice among the chaos of shame and guilt churning in their chest. I didn't think about that. I just wanted to survive. I didn't mean to. Zion cuts them off with a sharp, humorless laugh. Didn't asterisk think asterisk? Asterisk, 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 his voice drops to something lethally quiet, the kind of tone that makes even the bravest person flinch. Asterisk, asterisk, that's your problem. You don't think, you just act on fear, like some coward. Asterisk, a pause, as he looks down at them, his cold gaze dissecting every ounce of weakness in their posture. Asterisk, you know what happens to people who waste my time or drag me into their pathetic little problems. Eben's breath catches, their heart skipping a beat at the menace laced through his words. They've never seen this side of him. Cold, ruthless, utterly devoid of mercy. Every instinct screams at them to run, to get away from the danger, radiating off him in waves. But they can't move, trapped in the suffocating weight of his gaze and the sheer force of his presence. What happens? Asterisk, they whisper, dread thick in their throat. They don't really want to know the answer. Asterisk, a slow, cruel smile spreads across Zion's face at the fear in their eyes. He steps even closer, closing the distance between them until they're nearly chest to chest. The difference in height is intimidating, and he uses it fully to his advantage, leaning down, so his voice is a dangerously quiet hiss right next to their ear. They regret it. Asterisk, asterisk, he growls, the threat in his voice, making their blood run cold. Asterisk, asterisk, and they learn their lesson the hard way. Asterisk, Eben swallows audibly, their heart lodged in their throat. The closeness is suffocating, the chill in his voice, like a blade against their skin. The worst part is that his words don't feel like an idle threat. He seems like the kind of person who would make good on that promise. They shiver involuntarily, torn between the desire to flee and the need to stay rooted in place so as not to trigger his anger further. I'm sorry. Asterisk, asterisk, they whisper again, their voice trembling. I won't do it again, I swear. Asterisk, Zion stays silent for a moment, studying them with narrowed eyes. He seems to be measuring how sincere their apology is, or perhaps just enjoying the sight of them quivering under his gaze. His expression remains hard, showing no signs of softening. You better not, he finally says, voice still laced with a cold edge. If I have to step in to save your sorry ass again, I won't be as reasonable as I'm being now. You got that? Eben nods quickly, their throat too tight to speak. They don't need him to spell it out. They understand. One wrong move, and they won't just be in trouble with the bullies anymore. Zion's glare lingers a second longer before he finally steps back, his towering frame still casting a shadow over them as he adjusts his coat with sharp movements, like even the fabric is guilty by association. Good, he mutters darkly. Now get lost. Eben nods again silently, the relief at his retreat battling with the lingering fear of his cold gaze. They stand there a moment, frozen, before finally managing to force their feet to move. With one last glance at Zion, they practically run in the opposite direction, not daring to look back until they're safely out of sight. Zion watches them go, his eyes following their desperate retreat with a mix of annoyance and something else, something that could almost be curiosity. As they run away, their heart is still hammering in their chest, adrenaline coursing through them with every step. But amidst the chaos, A sense of profound guilt settles, like a heavy cloak, over their shoulders. They've messed up, and not just a little. They've dragged the most fearsome guy in school into their mess, threatened his reputation, and now he could do anything with that information. The realization only makes the fear in their stomach grow. But there's something else too. As Eben runs away, he feels the guilt gnaw at him harder with every step. He's messed up badly. Not only did he get Zion involved in his mess, but he also put his reputation on the line. Now that Zion knows his weakness, there's no telling what he might do with that information. The fear and uncertainty churn coldly in his gut, but as he flees, he can't shake the feeling that there was something else in Zion's cold, unforgiving gaze, something that made his stomach flutter despite the danger. Asterisk, he runs until his lungs burn, and he's miles away from the school. Finally, slowing to a stop at the park nearby, he drops onto a bench, head spinning from the events of the day. He should be terrified. Zion is the last person he'd ever want to cross, but instead, his thoughts keep flickering back to that cold glare, the harsh words, the way Zion had looked at him with something other than just contempt. Eben shakes his head, trying to clear his mind. It's foolish even to think like that. Zion is the definition of untouchable, a wealthy, intimidating, and powerful figure who doesn't have time for weaklings like him. Even if he did, he probably hates him for the trouble they caused. Eben sighs, resting his head in his hands. He should just forget about Zion and move on. But why can't he get that chilling glare out of his mind? The memory of it making his heart beat faster in his chest. Asterisk, he sits there for what feels like hours, letting the cool evening air brush against his flushed cheeks. Every time he closes his eyes, he sees Zion's face again, the sharp, ice-cold eyes, the sharp jawline, the lips curled up in a sneer. It's maddening. This isn't normal. Eben is supposed to be scared of him, not weirdly intrigued. He doesn't even like guys like Zion. He's cocky, rude, and completely out of his league. Asterisk, he tries to push the thoughts away, telling himself it's just the adrenaline still coursing through him. But the more he tries to forget, the stronger the memories get. The way Zion's voice had sounded when he was angry, the way he'd loomed over him like a predator, toying with its prey. Eben swallows hard, the images making something flutter in his stomach. God, what the hell is wrong with him? He can't be attracted to Zion. That's crazy. Zion is cruel, intimidating, completely unattainable. But there's no denying the way his heart pounds harder at the memory of those cold gray eyes. Eben groans, covering his face with his hands. This can't be happening. He should be running scared in the opposite direction, not sitting here, fantasizing about someone who probably hates his guts.